Hey guys, welcome back to our 16th episode.
Sweet
We are
16.
Whoa! MTV Crib. We are in good company, also known as En Buena Compañía. My name is Isis.
Shanti.
This is Evelyn.
Today, I kind of just want to catch up with y'all.
Yes, it's been so long.
Some crazy thing happened. If you saw my TikTok that was up for like 3 hours and then got taken down, you understand what I'm about to say, but...
You were there too.
You were there too, yeah. But fuck TikTok for, not posting my shit.
Pick a finger.
Yeah. Well, I went to Ensenada like last weekend to visit family and be with family and everything, and just the craziest shit happened, like shit that I never thought I would experience, at least in my country, and like in Mexico. Yeah, like that to me was like the craziest part. But basically, we went out to eat. It was the end of the night. Like we're tired. We traveled 5 hours to get to Ensenada from here. We're saying our goodbyes, and my tia had brought a stroller for her grandkid, but the stroller wouldn't open. So we were kind of just there for a while, like trying to figure it out. And then we finally figured it out and we're all excited. So when we put the baby in there, my other tia was like, oh, let me take a picture of you guys all together with the stroller.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's my cousin, it's his fiance, and it's the baby. And then it's my tia, which is my cousin's mom. And she's telling them to take a picture. The fiance doesn't like what she's wearing, or she's just not feeling it. She's like, I don't want to be in the picture, so she steps to the side. It's like a wholesome moment, like my tia is taking a picture of them, and they're over here all happy posing, and I just hear this random voice go, "Why are you guys taking a picture with the white baby?"
The entitlement.
And I was like, I looked at him, and first I was like, where the fuck did you come from? What the fuck? Like, I didn't even see you here. And then the second was like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, I was so, we were all in shock. Like, all my family, we were just staring at him, like, processing, like, did he just really say that? Mm-hmm. And he says it again. Yeah. Why are you guys taking a picture with the white baby?
Mm-hmm. To give context, the fiance is a white American Caucasian girl, and the baby looks very much Caucasian.
Yeah, the baby's half white. Both the fiance and the baby, they both have blue eyes. They both have blonde hair. They're both very fair. My cousin Abraham, look, he does have like a fro, kind of like Isis, like he has curly hair. Mm-hmm. My aunt also has long curly hair. But to me, it was just like so uncalled for, Mm-hmm. Like I get if the baby was in danger or something, mm-hmm. or like, okay, step in, say something. But it was such a wholesome moment. Like, we're just taking a picture of the family. It was crazy. So the dad of the baby goes, it's none of your business. When the guy asks, why are you guys taking a picture with the white baby? Mm-hmm. This guy goes, it is my business. And he starts taking the shit out of his pockets, like already trying to fucking fight.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He was looking for violence, as white people have historically done. Oh, I said that.
Honestly, yeah. I was in shock. Like, I'm watching this guy take all of his shit out of his pockets, and I'm like, no fucking way this man's trying to fight. Like, this man was trying to look for fucking trouble. Like, he was trying to look for someone to have a problem with and pick a fucking fight.
Wow.
And I don't know what my cousin Abraham's like screaming at him or something, but his fiance, mind you, she's pregnant too, so she's kind of like holding him like, no, like don't, as he's screaming at the guy telling him shit, she's like holding him back like, no, and so yeah, this all happened within like a minute. Like, I'm probably even exaggerating saying a minute. It was like this, like all this happened like this. Okay, so then he says it is my fucking problem. He takes all the shit out of his pockets. And my cousin tells him something, and then my cousin Justin's like on the left side of him. My cousin Justin is not saying anything to that man. Anything. He's not even facing the man. All my cousin does is go like this, like fix his jacket, and this guy goes and fucking punches my cousin right here to right here. Like,
oh my God.
The look on my cousin's face, like even he was in shock, like, what the fuck? Like, fucking bitch ass, I'm sorry, you can't cuss on YouTube, but fucking bitch ass fucking sucker punch, bro.
Pick a finger.
And so when we saw that, I mean, Justin's girl, she goes straight and she grabs him because she already knows, like, you know,
Justin will fuck him up for real.
Yeah, Justin will go crazy.
And Abraham will fuck him up for real.
But all this happened quickly. Like, I'm telling you, like this. And so as soon as I saw him punch Justin, me and my mom, my tias, and everybody, we started screaming, "Policía, policía," because as women, we feel helpless, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this guy was a big guy. Like, I had a water bottle in my hand, and I wanted to throw it at him so bad, but I couldn't. Like, who knows what he was going to do to me, and then that shit would have gone left, you know?
Then perpetuating violence, but...
Bro, and so I just started screaming, "Policía, policía," and my family started screaming, we all started screaming, "Policía," and luckily there was a policía right there.
Thank God.
So I, like, wave at him, and I'm, like, pointing at the guy, because as soon as we started screaming "Policía," the guy fucking dipped, him and his homie. And he had a homie who was a Mexican-looking man, quiet. He didn't say anything. He was just allowing this guy to just fucking be racist, rude, like, entitled.
In his country.
Exactly. I was so in shock. So I told the cops, and I'm like, you know, arréstenlo, pegó mi primo. Like, arrest him. He hit my cousin. Mm-hmm. And so the police actually does a U-turn and goes and follows the guy. And me and my cousin, the dad of the baby, we book it so that make sure, like, you know, we point at the guy and they catch him. And they get to him, and as soon as they get to him, and we reach there too, he calls us racist. He's like, they're racist. I was like,
okay, Karen.
Bro, literally I was in utter shock, like, no fucking way. So I started being racist back. Fuck, you gotta play with fire and fire. So I started telling that motherfucker, you better go back to your fucking country. Go back where you fucking came from. I'm like, don't bring that shit here. And I have it in video of me saying that. Mm-hmm. And
actually, we'll insert the clip after Sean tells the story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, no. He was talking shit about my baby. He punched my cousin.
Él nos confrontó.
Oh, we're racist, this motherfucker.
Él nos confrontó y él nos dijo, oh, ¿quién es ese bebé? ¿Quién es ese bebé?
He's a fucking drunk ass motherfucker. Yeah.
Él tiene un niño gringo con una gringa. Porque teníamos un niño gringo aquí. Él está con una gringa, está casado con la gringa. Y es un racista.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
¡Ey, pinche estúpido! Aquí no es tu país. Aquí no es tu país. Tú no puedes hacer lo que hace allá aquí. ¿Ok? Él es un gringo. Es que ellos son así allá. Y quieren ser el mismo aquí. Eso no se vale.
Sucker punch, that's a pussy ass move.
Yeah, you are. You're a pussy. Pussy. No, es que él buscó problemas. Él nos buscó para problemas. Eso no es justo. Él nos buscó para problemas.
Yeah, you probably are, motherfucker. Why else are you fucking here, huh? Fuck you.
Get fucking trouble. Go back to your fucking country, bro. Go back. Go back to your fucking country. Don't bring that shit here. Don't bring that shit here. No, go show your bald head somewhere else. Go be bald somewhere else.
Fuck you up, bitch.
Abraham.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like shaking thinking about it because I was in shock. Like, I'm still in shock. Like, the audacity of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Audacity.
bro, it's like and it's funny because when I talked to my dad about it after, my dad was explaining to me what he thinks the guy's thought process was. And I agree with my dad. I think what he thought he saw was, we asked this random white girl, the fiance, hey, your baby's so cute and white. Can we take a picture with him? Like, what white superiority fucking mentality is? Yeah, like, what kind of shit is that? Like, bro, like, when my dad told me that, I was like, that's true. I think that's what was going on in his head. And that's why he felt entitled. Like, he thought he was going to make us look stupid and call us out and be like, why are you taking a picture with the white baby? Like, why are you doing some weird shit? You're the one doing weird shit. Like, bro.
Your people are the one going to other countries and abusing minors so that you can have sexual exploits with them, but that's not here nor there.
For me, it's just like, it's okay. Go to Mexico. A lot of Americans are moving to Mexico, especially Mexico City, and I welcome them, but have some fucking respect, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Have some fucking respect. Don't bring that racist shit over there.
Do you want that respect here and always calling all these Latino Americanos robbers? They do this. You're categorizing these people. Same thing over there. We respect your welcome, but have some respect we don't tolerate the same shit that you guys are going to tolerate in your country.
Exactly. And honestly, he gave me very entitled energy. Like, even when the cops were talking to him, he seemed like unbothered. Like, if he knew, I'm going to get away. I'm going to just probably pay these cops. Something's going to happen to me. Like, that's how I felt his energy.
Yeah.
And that's why I told the cops in Spanish, like, don't let him get away with this shit. I'm like, policia, I'm like, they go and do this shit over there. I'm like, don't let them be able to pull this shit here. That's not right. I'm like, they come here thinking it's like a lawless country, that they can do whatever the fuck they want, and they'll get away with it because they're just going to have to pay the cops, and they're good.
And when you see that...
And they're not wrong.
When you see that clip that we're going to post on here, you see that guy kind of laughing too. Like smiling, kind of like laughing at you guys. He's like waiting for it, enjoying it. He loved the reaction of it, but that's not right. This guy was not right in the head. For him to just, he loved it. He loved seeing violence.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I do think he was in his right mind. And I do think what he said is what he truly believes. Like, he was ready to fight. He wanted to perpetuate violence. He wanted to cause a scene. He felt so entitled and so abled. And so he felt so entitled and worthy of trying to stake claim in a whole country that's not his. Why? Because people really do believe that white people are superior, especially in Latin American countries.
It's sadly true. And for me, it was like, damn, how ignorant of this. Because where I'm from, in my pueblo, I have cousins that are white, like blue eyes, pale skin, blonde hair, and they're full on Mexican. So it was just, to me, it was so racist. It was like, for you to already assume that baby has no way or shape or form can be part of our family. It's just like, how ignorant can you be? Like, okay, maybe in this part of Mexico that you're at, all you see is a certain type of Mexicans, but just go a little more down south and you'll see different types of Mexicans. Like, Mexicans, we come in different shapes, flavors, sizes. Like, we're very diverse. So to me, it was just so fucking ignorant. Like, so fucking ignorant.
Dude, and that's on coming into Mexico and bringing that shit. There's already enough of it going on. Why are you adding on to it?
Yeah.
You know, being lighter skin, having lighter colors. Like you've seen in novelas, you know, growing up, I always saw novelas. Like, the prettiest or the main character was always the light with the blue eyes.
Oh, that's true.
And I was like, dang. And I always wanted to be them. And I was like, oh, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But then someone that'd be cleaning the house, they'd be like shorter and darker and all that stuff. It's like, how is the media also portraying that on individuals? So when we as society see that, it's like, oh yeah, that is the right way to see it. Oh yeah, we're not surprised because she's short and dark cleaning that, you know?
Yeah.
But like any other culture, there's prejudice. They're always favorable for that sense. It's like, you're beautiful because of your lighter. So I was thinking about it too when I was younger. I always used to find like, I had, you know, we all had like our type of men. All right, who's gonna start off? Who was everybody start off before I start off?
I can talk about my experience. Yeah. Like, the opposite. I feel like, you know, I used to always argue and say there's no racism in Latino culture, but then I really got to reflect and realize, no, there ain't no racism, but there's colorism for sure. Like, there's both. There's both.
Prejudice.
Yeah, there's both. But I feel like because, you know, in Latin culture, like, I don't know, like, you don't really see diversity like over here, you know, like I don't see Chinos over there, you know, I don't see Indians over there, like, so that's why I say it's more colorist, because it's really based off like, oh, you're Mexican, but oh, you're dark, oh, you're that, like, it's more like really the color of your skin, like, no matter if you're Mexican, you're Honduran, you're Venezuelan, like, your color, you know, and I'm not gonna take away, I feel like every culture has that. But in Latino culture, like, I'm Latina, so obviously I'm going to speak on my experience. But, you know, growing up, when I was little, I was seen as, like, the morena. And I could consider myself a morena. But, like, when I was younger, you know, you're out in the sun, you're playing all the time. Like, you know, I was, like, a lot darker, you know. And my family, they're more in the lighter side. Like, both my dads and my mom's. So I always, like, not always, but I remember, like, the point where I realized, like, oh my God, like I'm not the favorable, you know, when you complexion, you know, like, oh, I'm not the favorable, like, I'm not the standard of beauty that everyone else thinks, you know? And I remember this like it was yesterday. And
How old were you?
I was a little girl. I was probably like 5, like 5 years old. That's or crazy. 4 maybe. And I was a flower girl for my cousin's wedding in my pueblo in Mexico. And like I said, a lot of my family are pretty light. So my cousin, her and I are like, around the same age. And we were both flower girls. And I just remember, like, it's the end of the ceremony. It's the end of the church thing. Like, we're just at the end throwing the freaking petals. And my cousin's already walking out of the church. And her bridesmaids and these other group of girls, like, they stop us. And they're like, oh, my God. So at first I'm thinking, they're talking to both of us, So I'm like, all right. Like, I'm ready to, like, take all the compliments. Like, I'm thinking I'm about to get gassed up. And I'm right there like, all right, And then I just realized they're not talking to me. They were talking to my cousin. And they were just, like, gassing her up over things that I do not have. Like, they were like, oh my God, your skin, you're so fair, you're so white. And then they'll talk about her lips, how they're so naturally pink, and then her light brown curly hair. And then, like, they were just like
everything that you didn't
know. And I remember I started looking at myself, and that was the first time I ever felt any type of insecureness. And I was just like, whoa, like, I'm not any of those things. I have like straight dark hair. I have dark eyes. I had dark skin. Like, I just realized, like, whoa, like, that's crazy. Like, I'm ugly. Like, I remember just thinking, like, I'm ugly, And I remember one of the girls saying, oh my God, like, why didn't you wear her dress? Talking to me. No. Because my mom got me this beautiful dress. I had, like, real petals inside the dress. Like, it was very cute. And they literally had the nerve to ask, like, why didn't you wear her dress?
That's crazy.
And I remember from there,
kind of saying, like, you didn't deserve to wear the prettier dress.
Yeah, like, you would have looked better. Like, why didn't you wear it? And I remember that was, like, a very pivotal moment for me because the self-hatred just went, like, I mean, at the time I didn't understand it was, like, self-hatred. But I remember just really, like, not liking what I see in the mirror. Like, I really just accepted the fact I'm an ugly little girl. Like, it is what it is, And then, my brother, he has, like, hazel green eyes. So since we were little, he would always bring it up. Like, oh, I have colored eyes and you don't. And this and that. And, like, I mean, after what I went through, it did sting a little more, It did feel like, damn, why didn't I get that? Like, what the hell? Like, and it went to the point where I would only buy dolls that were blonde and blue eyes. Like, I did not want dark dolls. I did not want dolls that looked like me. Like, to me, that was just like, that's what beauty is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My mom, she's not natural blonde, but she's always had blonde hair. And I remember I would tell her, like, oh, I want your hair. And she would look at me like, hi, Mija, you're crazy. You have dark, thick hair. Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't like my hair. And I was even into, like, white boys. Like, I remember I was obsessed. Like, I would have all my crushes when I was in elementary were all white boys. Like,
hey, Justin Bieber.
Literally. Like, Zac Efron was my man. That guy that's on every freaking movie, what's his name? I always forget his name.
Oh, Chris Evans?
Chris Evans?
Chris Evans?
No.
Cody Simpson?
No.
Cody?
No, the guy from One Tree Hill.
Liam Hemsworth.
Michael Murray.
Michael. I know Michael.
The one from Cinderella Story.
Yeah.
Oh, he was cute.
Murray? Is that a Chad?
Girl, he was
cute.
He
looks like a Chad.
He was I would date him.
He's like a Chad.
In your defense, he was the cute one at that time.
Bitch, I was obsessed with white boys. Like, I remember even thinking, like, oh my God, I need to get with the white boy because I don't want my kids coming out looking like me. Like, I remember really...
What?
I remember really thinking, like, I don't want my kid to come out looking like me. Like, I really just accepted the fact that I was, like, ugly. And it wasn't until, like, middle school where I started getting, like, a lot of reassurance and, like, I started getting hit on for the first time. And, like, I hate to say that was, like, what made me kind of, like, love myself, but it really did. Like, it made me kind of just, like, start to,
it
like...
made you see what you weren't seeing. Others saw in you and you're like, oh, wait, the other perspective is I am beautiful because of these things.
Yeah.
And you hadn't heard that before.
Yeah. Like, I started realizing, like, wow, like, I don't have colored eyes. I'm not fair. I don't have these features, but I'm still beautiful. Like, if anything, like, damn, I'm beautiful and I don't have none of that. So I started switching my mindset and I started really just accepting myself and really loving myself. And I even started going to the point where I'm like, I want to get tan, like I started loving all those sides that I didn't like about myself. And I feel like that's something that the Latino community, they don't understand, I feel like they don't understand how bad it is to be like, oh, la negrita, or like, oh, but in a degrading way, it's different if you say in a cuddly cute
la
way.
Prietita
or la prietita, or like, or something I always hear, and it's sad, but it's like people always talk about, like, if someone's pregnant, oh my God, like I hope it has colored eyes, or I hope it doesn't come
Yeah,
out dark, or
same.
or
I've
like,
always
oh,
heard
the
that.
dad is dark. Oh, let's hope. Like I still see that today, and
Oh,
to me, it's
facts.
very triggering. I'm like, wow, like
Why would you even think? Why would you? Why would your concern be their looks and not that there's going to be a healthy baby?
exactly.
What do you really care about?
Yeah, but I feel like that's something very big in the Latino culture. Like
Super.
yes, like they
And it's
do,
crazy-
we do favor those traits.
Dude, it's crazy to think like a light skin baby is born, right? And then there's dark skin. You think about how harder the dark skin has to work to be in the same level as a light skin. Same with corporate jobs, right? A white man will have a very easily, I'm not saying every white man, but some white men will get very high roles in their position. But a dark man has to work double, triple to get in
to
that
prove
same role.
himself.
Exactly. And it's sad and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, because it's something we can't control. I think I remember feeling that, like, oh, I wish I was able to like control this, change this about myself. Like I remember really thinking about that, like. But it's just one of those things where, you know, it's just about teaching the next generation, you know, and educating them, and you know, and hoping that like, you know, shit changes. But I mean, I don't have hope in the way that like, oh, it's gonna be good like in a few years or decades. Like
Not in our lifetime.
no, not in our lifetime for sure.
I've never felt uncomfortable in my skin tone to a point where I want to be lighter, but I will say I did have the same thing as Chantel was talking about, where I always saw like white Barbies or stuff like that. You always see these in movies, and when I just see like a white guy with like blue eyes, they'd be like, oh my God, he's so attractive, he's a model, because that's what the media would portray a hot guy. All the girls want him in the movies. I was like, I want him. So now when I had a phase of where I had a taste, I really liked white boys too. I was like, oh my God, if he has blue eyes and he's white and tall, like that's my type of guy. It's my Prince Charming. Just like Disney movies. How does the prince or their prince normally look?
Yeah.
White, right? Tall and blue eyes.
Cinderella's for sure.
But I'm into brunettes now, so I'm just like, it made a difference. No, but
now.
no. Now, definitely, I'm more diverse with what I date. But before, I look back at it and I was like, why was I like that? Why did I put these specific color in a pedestal versus me?
It's just
versus,
society. It's just society. They implement things in your head. You know,
Right.
like I'm sure my brother knew that it was,
better.
that him having colored eyes was a flex because of how many people probably complimented on his eyes, you know, or probably told him, oh my God, sus ojos, his eyes, like, come on, you know, a kid doesn't just be born and think it's a flex. Like it's all socially constructed. It's all taught, you know?
I'm thinking about that. Latinos with colored eyes.
Literally, to the left. Hey, Evelyn, what?
Dude, that was the only thing I could flex at the time, all right? I didn't have much to flex, so I'd be like,
I'm dead. Hey,
just really at the camera.
saying, and those roar days were her best because you know you only had to put the camera half your face and then the majority of your eye. Yeah. She would put everything black and white and leave her eyes colored, but whatever. That's for another conversation. Yeah, no, I feel like, you know, me being fair skinned, like my experience, obviously I didn't experience colorism. And I could truly say like it wasn't until I got older I realized how light I was. Like, and for real, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not that white. Like, I don't know what everyone's talking about. Meanwhile, I could see my veins. If I closed my eyes back in the day, I used to hate that, like, when I would close my eyes, you could see my veins. Like, I would hate that. I felt like I was so white. Literally, I'm like, I couldn't see my veins when I closed my eyes, but like, when if I closed my eyes and you were looking at me, you could see my veins. People would tell me and I would hate it, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm not that white though. Like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, I'm not white, but I think for me, for a long time, I associated white, like blue eyes, colored eyes, blonde hair. And I'm like, I'm not white. Like, I have dark curly hair. Like, I have a color to me. Oh, did I realize the color was light beige? No, but in my head, I'm like, well, I'm like beige, but I didn't realize like how white I was. But when I would go to Honduras and people like, ay, qué bonita, qué blanquita, they will always say that, like, I was so pretty because I'm light, you know? And I remember my mom was like very much like, she's like, ay, qué bonito que uno esté like blanco, you know, when one like will be white. Like, and I, you know, I never thought that made me better. Like I said, I really never thought about color in that way. I never had a fascination with white dudes. I was actually quite the literal opposite. If you know my obsession with Tupac, you know. But you know, like I never saw like white people as being better than or like more than like, for me maybe because I think I was a favorable skin color, you know. So it wasn't like to me that there was some kind of shared experience where I'm like, oh, that I need to be this, but I guess I was like, what was the standard in terms of my complexion?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
And when I talk about these kind of struggles with like other people that are like not dark, you know, or never were dark, I feel like they don't understand what I'm talking about, or they think I'm exaggerating.
They don't understand. It's kind of like the white guy that you guys encountered in
He don't see how like, you know, disrespectful that is, you know, like, and not even to us, but to my cousin. Like, imagine like your baby's getting questioned. Like, that's wild. It's
wild that you won't ever experience that as a light person. And until you do or experience some kind of like racial form, now you know what people feel all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like you shouldn't have to experience that. You should be human and you should be empathetic and realize that skin complexion does not dictate what's superior. That's all based on, if we look at like the biological reason, you're darker because you're closer to the equator. Like there's reasons why depending on the region, you're going to have more melanin because in that region, you need more protection from the sun. Yeah. If you know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
we all come from the same ancestry.
Actually, if we trace back, we're all traced back to one Black woman in Africa. So not to say we're Black, right? I don't want to delineate between that and what I'm saying, but like, our pigment is just dependent on the regions that we're based from. Like, that's it. There's no superiority. But why do we believe that? Because of white supremacy, right? When there was colonization, when Spain came and conquered the Latin America, what did they do? They took away our language. So now you had to speak Spanish and that made you superior. They took away indigenous people's rights, right? They killed them off because they're like, oh, these people are dumb. Yeah. Why? Because they didn't have ships sail across the sea. Maybe they had everything that they needed and they were able to flourish based on their environment. Like,
you know, I've read something a long time ago for school, and it was talking about like the kind of the root of racism, and before it was even called race or racism, like it was, they would call like darker complexion the dark ones, and they would say that they were like evil. Like this was like, obviously this was before they even found like America. Like this, well, they didn't find America, but before they came to America, this is like when they were going to Africa, you know, and they would favor lighter complexion Africans than the darker ones, and they would say it's because of God, and they would use God as like it. To me, that's how deep rooted racism is. Like the point of racism has always been to degrade darker complexion people. Like that has been the root. And I feel like it's sad, but it's like 600 years ago, and we're still like a lot of us, and no matter what country you're from, like I know we're talking about Latin America, but no matter what country you're from, those standards still apply. Like you know, like I remember seeing a white person with blue eyes, blonde hair go to China. Even the Chinese people were like, like they thought this girl was like a god or something, and they were like taking pictures of her, you know. And that's all. I
like in China, when they see white people, it's like a fascination. But I've noticed when there's like Black people, there's kind of like like they're intrigued, but not in the same way that they'd be intrigued with a white person. And a lot of Black people have experienced that, and I've seen a lot of TikToks where they say, yeah, they come and I don't let them. They want to take pictures of me, or they'll say things and they know that they're doing things that are racist, you know, and it's just really sad. It's unfortunate that that's such a prominent thing in our community.
Yeah. And I've heard like the older generation say things like, so like when I talk about this and I talk about like, you know, like because they'll dead ass be worried. They'll have the same worries I had when I was little about, oh, their kid coming out like them, and they're hoping their kid comes out like lighter or something, or green eyes or whatever. And I'm just like, no way, you're still like worrying about stuff like that.
And I feel like we should be cognizant of what we say.
Oh yeah,
you know, because even Chantel saying that, Chantel didn't. I'm not saying this. But Chantel thought she was beautiful until someone told her she was ugly.
Yeah,
that wasn't even a thought you had formulated.
Me,
you were taught that you were not beautiful.
Colorism is taught.
Yeah, so we have to be mindful when we have children, when we procreate, when we have siblings, family, what we saying, oh, I'm hairy. I don't care, I'm a hairy. Like, am I gonna tell one of my little family members, oh, hairy, I hate it, so ugly. They're gonna go home and be like, I hate that I have hair. Yeah. Why is this so ugly? So we need to be mindful, because we are conditioning people to hate themselves based on the things that we're insecure about, based on the things that society told us was less than. So we need to be mindful because what we say can affect someone until they're older and can actually realize, no, I have worth beyond, being blonde, blue-eyed, and straight hair.
Exactly.
And that's on trauma. Passes down. You get older and you're like, I was never comfortable in my skin. I didn't like being hairy. I didn't like my nose. And we try changing ourselves for what's portrayed as standards.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? I just learned this on TikTok. University. That actually, like, the standard of beauty the standard of beauty that we think, like, oh my god, it actually stems from the male gaze. Yeah. So males tend to favor women that are conventionally pretty. Women, we tend to go, like, we think other women that are unique looking is like what's beautiful, like someone I can just look at you like, wow, like you're so different, and men like conventional. So I feel like a lot of it has to do with racism, a lot has to do with misogyny. I feel like the conventional beauty standard is the standard because men set it up that way too.
Yeah, and that's where we messed up though. We shouldn't have let them define us.
Yeah, bitch, we should have taken our power. But
do you think, Evelyn, that there's something where you look back or like, oh, I had issues with that and I wanted to like change of myself, or that's kind of revolved around like colorism?
Not necessarily colorism. I do see there's been occasions in elementary school where there was favoritism with lighter kids, and I noticed it, but I never let it affect me to a point. Maybe because I was like such a silly person and I was always in my own little world. As a kid, that's not something you focus on, right? You're like, oh, they're favoriting that person. You're a kid, you don't really know what's good or bad. But now that I'm older, I see who they favorited and why they favorited them, because why they were a little lighter than me. They were a lot prettier than me. But it sucks. Even a teacher does that. Teacher having favoritism but based on skin tone is sad.
I've seen a lot of teachers that they'd pick on the black kid immediately. I've seen a lot of teachers, and when you're little, you don't realize, but it's like the same thing the black kid, the white kid did. The black kid, the Latino kid did. And you just see how like anti-black and how much racism people like continue to project, and that's why it's so important now that we're like adults. We need to kind of remove the skin pigment, eye color, hair color from what is beauty. Like let yourself be the standard of beauty for yourself. Like I don't walk in any room and realize she has a bigger this than me, she has a better this than me, a prettier this than me. Like, you need to love who you are, because if you believe in God or the universe, you were made as you are,
It's so cheesy to say, because we said that. I think it's a very cheesy quote we've all heard before, but comparison is the thief of joy. Every time you're comparing yourself on social media, this person has this, I don't. Everyone's background's different. And that's what you need to remind yourself.
Yeah.
I agree.
Self-love, like accept yourself, love yourself. Because I know it's hard. I know, especially with social media, like it's hard to love every inch of yourself, but it's so freeing. Like, something real quick. Like I have always been insecure on my lips, and I have been back and forth on getting my lips done. And then I don't know who told me, and they told me like, oh, you should. I don't know why telling me I should, but it's just like, you know what? Fuck that. No, these are my fucking lips. These are my fucking lips. Like if I have kids, they're going to have these fucking lips. Like it is what it is, and I feel like that made me feel so free. And I was like, made me not hate myself, but it made me not like,
it would made you release the need to.
It just made me like, when I looked in the mirror, like I wasn't so focused on the lips no more.
It made you accept yourself.
It made you exactly. I was like, no, I'm gonna accept myself. Like it is what it is, and I feel like that's the true confidence. Like when you accept yourself, like, and you love yourself, every inch, every flaw, like that's true confidence.
I agree. And as we continue to face colorism, let's confront it. Let's make sure that we're stopping in our tracks, because not every Latina looks like me. Not every Latina looks like Chantel. Not every Latina looks like Evelyn. And so we shouldn't make that the standard for anybody in our family, because we want to make sure that we're not those people that are creating insecurities and making others see flaws in themselves that are not there before.
Let's just be mindful.
Be proud of your people. Be proud of where you came from. Be proud of those indigenous people that are always fighting for their lives. I always see in Mexico having to work double, triple harder just to get in the same role that a lighter skin will have.
Yeah. So let's try to be the change that we want to see in the world, and let's truly be the generation that changes things, or at least tries, or starting this conversation. So
yeah, and to end that point, this is it. Colorism is still real, so keep that in mind. Thank you guys for watching, and we hope to watch you in the next episode. Bye.